All right. So we're starting a little bit earlier than we normally do. We were supposed to start around 6 p.m., but our team is all over the place today, so we couldn't pick a time. So we're just going to start a little bit earlier than 8:30. We are doing our Six Flags 2019 predictions, and honestly, I thought this was going to be the easiest thing to do ever, and it ended up being the hardest thing to do. So feel free to comment down below what you guys think, and if you agree or disagree with whatever we're presenting for a certain park. As I'm sure we're going to get a couple things wrong, and we're probably going to get a couple things right. But it's easy and extremely hard to do Six Flags predictions. So prepare to get triggered. We're going to go right into it. And La Ronde is an interesting park. So La Ronde has had some controversial moves over the last couple of years that led a lot of enthusiasts to question its longevity. Like, is it going to be here? Is it what's going on with La Ronde? We've had ride removals, so now we've had two pretty major ride removals from the park, and they were supposed to get 3 flat rides this season, and they only ended up getting 1. It was due to ride damages, from what I'm hearing from a couple people actually. So it sounds like 2 rides were damaged, and that's why. It had nothing to do with last minute decisions to cancel or anything. But the attractions they were adding are still very weird, in my opinion, for what they were removing. So they removed a very classic log ride. And these things, and Koblas can maybe touch on it, but this attraction was very popular. In fact, even news stations up here in Ontario were reporting on its removal. And obviously, I think the ride was called Apocalypse 2, right? At La Ronde, that was removed. What was it called?
Cobra.
Cobra, yes, Cobra. So that was removed. And now we have 2019 coming. And the big question is, are they going to get a coaster? Are they going to get a flat ride? Or are they going to get the 2 flat rides they were supposed to get in 2018? It's a difficult one. So I think it could go either way. You're either going to see the 2 flat rides they were supposed to get added in 2019, or you're going to see one of these other flat rides. So La Ronde is on our list of the attractions like Cyborg at Great Adventure coming to La Ronde, and maybe even a Skywarp. Who knows if they're lucky? What do you guys think?
Um, I think there is a slight possibility we could see like some sort of roller coaster, not anything too major. La Ronde having one of the longest off seasons of any seasonal park as well would also help to the fact that you don't need to see construction start right away unless it's a really major coaster. Um, that being said, I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think that would be probably a 2020 thing, if I would guess. But the Tourbillon would actually be kind of cool if we get it. Probably something along the lines of a Super Loop or a Skywarp if we were to get a coaster right now would probably be the great fit for the park. Maybe the newer gen Enterprise, there's Emperor Endeavor as well. Would make a lot of sense.
For sure. And what about you, Eastern?
Yeah, I'd agree. I definitely can see them getting a tourbillon, kind of like with Cyborg this year. But I also can see them getting a Super Loop and or a Endeavor because those both have been added to Six Flags parks recently, and they probably and I don't know their parks super well, but I think it'd be a really good fit for their flat ride collection, improving that. So I think tourbillon or Endeavor or you know maybe even a roller coaster honestly could come to La Ronde.
For sure. And then that brings us to the Cyborg. I refuse to try and pronounce this word, so I always butcher it. If you're wondering why I'm saying Cyborg and not the actual ride model,
The
I
French
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I butcher it. So we're predicting, and we did this as a team. So you guys can comment down below, but we think that this ride model is probably going to go to Six Flags Over Georgia, maybe La Ronde if they're lucky, Six Flags Mexico, and Six Flags Great Escape. Now, that's a lot of parks for one flat ride, so I mean, we could end up being wrong, but I think that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good prediction considering it looks like Six Flags might actually have a big year. Six Flags has been doing pretty well. In fact, they're kind of slaughtering Cedar Fair in terms of sales growth and growth in general. But what do you guys think? Because this is where it starts to get really tough because you're predicting clones going to parks that don't have them.
Yeah. I'd say this is about right. I definitely agree with this. Lots of these parks are actually rumored to get a tourbillon, and I think the tourbillon actually, if it get it up and running properly, I think it actually be really nice fits at all of these parks. Actually, I've been on one and I think that they're great rides. So I think this would be a really nice fit to go to any of these parks.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Kobus?
Uh, I know of a couple spots at La Ronde where this could fit in quite well. One of them being our old Huss Topspin spot. The queue line and stuff are still there from that when it was removed in 2011. However, Great Escape, I do disagree with. It seems like too much of a large ride for that park, being the kind of small family park that it is. It doesn't really have the space for a large thrill ride, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I think now would actually be the perfect time. I should have started off the stream with it. But for a lot of you that were questioning why Amusement Insiders didn't do a video on the leaks for Six Flags that were appearing on Reddit, right? It was Reddit that we were appearing on?
Yep.
Yeah. It was because, A, we didn't know if they were legit, and anything like that comes through text or like a leak like that with very little like knowledge or background as to where it came from, it's most likely fake. So we definitely were falling for it. We're not going to deny that. We were definitely like, oh, okay, this looks kind of legit. But we didn't have enough ground to be like, this looks legit. Let's make a video on it. So that's why. And now we know that it's fake. So I'm thankful we didn't make a video on it.
It's the same. I just opt for it.
All right. So the next model. Oh, here we have another clone. The Skywarp. So we have Six Flags Over Texas and Darien Lake that we're predicting to get the Skywarp. And I think it's a safe bet to only bet 2 parks because from what I'm hearing, the model's having some problems.
Mm-hmm.
And it's noisy too, I'm hearing. Like really noisy. Is that true?
Yeah, apparently Harley Quinn Crazy Coaster is really noisy when it's like running.
Yeah.
Reviews.
Buffy said it was rather noisy.
Yeah.
So we are probably going to see some, Skywarps, maybe even an Eclipse in the Six Flags chain, and they're cheap. And you know what? I would have even put La Ronde on this list too for a potential. I think we already discussed that though.
Yeah,
so what do you guys think about the Skywarps and them coming to more Six Flags parks?
I think for one, Darien Lake, it's very possible. That park is rumored to get not a big, attraction for 2019 since they did just get Tantrum, but a Skywarp is something that's been heavily rumored, and it also would make sense for the park because it wouldn't be, a huge, big roller coaster. It'd be something smaller, and it probably wouldn't be too costly, especially since Six Flags just bought, Darien Lake, Frontier City, and all those parks. So I think a Scarpa Darien Lake is definitely likely. And same thing with Over Texas.
Mm-hmm. Anything else to add, Cobust?
I'm not sure if we're gonna see this. Like, I'll definitely see maybe 1, 2 if Six Flags proves to be a little bit stubborn with getting them if they haven't ironed out the kinks with Harley Quinn yet.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, Darien Lake was the risky option to put on here, right? Darien Lake was just acquired. Are they going to focus on just upping and bringing it back into the Six Flags chain with the signage, landscaping, getting it back? Well, landscaping is a generous word to use with Six Flags. I'm kidding. But getting it back up to like Six Flags standards and all that. So that might actually take a year. So Darien Lake, to be honest, I may even take off this list. Unless they're like, you know what, this park needs something now, even though they just got a coaster. It's a tough one.
Right. I think that's like the interesting part with that.
Oh.
But yeah.
Great Adventure. So this is the one thing that it looks like there was a separate leak on top of that suggests that Great Adventure is definitely getting a golden, or what do they call this one? It's like the
Pearly Giant Discovery.
Yeah, okay. No, but what's the name Six Flags gives this?
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Yes.
overused. Golden Lasso, Wonder Woman. So it looks like they're going to get this, and it looks like the leak that we saw at least was suggesting it's going to be the world's tallest and fastest.
Yeah.
Now, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to steal it from Magic Mountain. I think they're going to tie it like you see with, Yukon Striker tying Valraven for height, but taking the record in a different way. So who knows? Who knows? Six Flags thing, but I have a feeling they just cloned the ride. What do you guys think?
I think it actually makes sense if they did take the record, and here's why. I think it makes sense because while Great Adventure takes this new record, which could possibly be 200 feet or something, between 175 and 200, I'll say. Magic Mountain definitely could possibly be receiving a new record-breaking coaster, especially since that project seems to be so massive and with everything they're doing. So it could almost be take away one of Magic Mountain's records, but Magic Mountain's going to be getting a record, and if that makes sense, that's what I mean by this also being world's tallest and fastest. So I think it is possible, but yeah, I think that leak that came up, a separate one, does seem to be true. It came from an official Six Flags website. The website was actually locked, so most likely if a website's locked, it's more official than something that isn't. And yeah.
Yeah. And what about you, Kobas? Do you have anything to say about a giant pendulum ride?
I'll just say that my experience riding one the past couple of years, they're pretty fun. I think that if Great Adventure does something, I don't think they're going to do a record-breaking thing. Maybe they'll get a standard size one, but reinforce it properly to completely invert. That sounds like something they might be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they can't invert a tall pendulum ride like this. The forces alone.
Without people on them.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be inverting, but I definitely think it'll be, the average pendulum ride. There's our Discovery that's 175 feet or something like that. Since they did in the leak, it did say that it would be the tallest and fastest pendulum ride on the East Coast. So I think that definitely could be possible, considering Black Widow is 146 feet tall.
Mm-hmm. Easy peasy. Six Flags America, Apocalypse, The Last Stand, closing forever. It's probably, I can't see them. Maybe they'll pull a LeBron and it'll just be scrapped, and then maybe they'll see one of those clone attractions added to the park. But I think it's going to be a conversion, and I think the world thinks it's going to be a conversion.
Yeah, definitely looking at a conversion. And it would make sense, especially considering that Apocalypse was the first B&M, so they wouldn't want to remove that, but they'd want to keep it and just, give it a new life or something like that as a Flawless. So I think Flawless makes most sense.
Yeah. What about you, Koblas? Are you going to be bitter?
No, not really. I think part of the reason why we lost ours is because the parts are no longer manufactured, along with the fact that no one was riding it in the process. And the fact, this one, it seems like it's worth saving because they can still maintain the ride properly.
Yeah. And it seems like a lot of people didn't like Rougarou when they transformed it into Rougarou. It seems to get a lot of hate from and not even hate. Hate's a strong word. It seems to get a lot of people feel like it kind of made it. So I wonder if this would become kind of meh as well.
Yeah. I think because it'll be a Flawless, it'll be a more comfortable experience for riders. So I think it'll overall play out well, and probably how they theme it. And overall, I think it'll be a better addition as a sit down Flawless coaster rather than a stand up.
Yeah, because I love Rougarou. I actually think it's really forceful as a sit down coaster now.
Yeah, I think Rougarou.
The reason with that is people kind of walk down the midway at Cedar Point, and I'll use Patriot as an example as well at CGA, that they look and see the same coaster standing there. Sure, it has a new coat of paint, it looks different and has different trains on it, but people would probably see the same thing that they've been riding for years. So maybe that would have a similar effect, even though it hadn't been there for long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then you have Six Flags St. Louis, which is the strong rumor right now seems to be a 4D free spin. That, in my opinion, would be generous. We're getting up to a lot of coasters coming to the Six Flags chain if this keeps going. So it's going to be one of these or a clone of a flat ride or who knows. What do you guys think? This was a hard park for me. I have no idea what this park's getting.
I think if I had to say that one free spin was going to go to a Six Flags park, I would choose this one, like for sure. This park has been rumored to get a free spin for years, and I think it would make sense if they got one. And I think it'd be a good fit, especially since they haven't gotten a new coaster in a while. So I think a free spin would be nice for the park.
I could also see this, or probably some sort of thrilling flat ride to go along with it, like a major thrill ride to attract people again.
Yeah, it's going to be something. It's going to be either a flat ride or the 4D free spin. It's just like we're looking at a lot of coasters in our predictions, and that's why I'm like, either Six Flags is spending a lot this season, or they're not going to spend a lot, and it's going to be your same typical like flat ride.
They could be spending a lot or saving money for like a future major ballpark expansion type thing, or for their overseas parks that they're trying to invest in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. This is where people are going to get triggered. Fiesta, Texas. Everyone's looking at the screen right now, and they're like throwing their computer or phone across the room.
Several phones and laptops.
Okay, so I feel like I have to explain because everyone's literally like unsubscribing. No, I'm kidding. So Fiesta Texas has been teasing, and they're teasing like in a very weird way, and I almost like it. It's once a week or however often they've been doing it. The videos are very like they're not leading us anywhere, but they're still fun to watch, and they're giving us a better idea of land, I find. So their teasers have been directed into just showing us where and the name, because the guy's name is Max, and Max Force has been tossed around Six Flags in their marketing and their emails and all that and voting. But I honestly think with the land, so if anyone saw that, sir, it's like 1,000 meters of land, right? That is,
yeah.
And they were teasing 1,000 as a number, so that was interesting. So it's 1,000 meters of land. It's kind of got that like oval shape where it like takes up almost like a straight line. These are fairly cheap additions as well. They're not like the most expensive coaster out there, and I have a feeling Intamin's almost like on sale at this point, not to throw shade.
Yeah.
So I honestly see a giga-sized launch coaster, so similar to the Strata coasters, but giga-sized, like Red Force, coming to Fiesta Texas. That's my prediction. We'll hear from Kobas now, and if it's not that, they'll probably get a giant pendulum as well. Who knows? But I have a feeling they're getting something like Red Force. What do you guys think?
I'll let Eastern go first on this one. I'll save myself for the end.
Oh my god. I mixed up my parks.
Oh?
Great America is the one teasing Max Force.
Yeah.
Okay. But so this slide is for Great America, I think.
No, this is for Fiesta Texas. But it's still the same thing. Basically, Jeffrey Seabird has been teasing a lot, and he's been doing the same things. He's been teasing areas, ride removals, and even how tall and fast the ride would be. So I think they teased recently taller than the Statue of Liberty, which...
Yes, there you are. Sorry.
Yeah. If you know, the entire Statue of Liberty is 305 feet, I believe, something like that. And Red Force is also in that 300-foot height range. So I think something like this actually would make sense, especially since near the land it actually would fit well. And maybe they won't get a coaster. Who knows? Maybe they could just get a giant Discovery, which is something I'm also thinking. Giant Discovery or a new coaster, I think, is definitely possible for Fiesta Texas. What are you thinking, Kobas?
Okay. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the placement of where this can fit. If it goes right up the side of the quarry wall, and then you dive back down and kind of like catch it as you're going down almost, like catch a draft of wind coming off the top. I think that's how that would be the only way they could fit this thing in properly. Otherwise, the Giant Discovery fits a lot more. if they can like play with clearances and stuff and put it right up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Does Fiesta Texas have a height restriction?
I believe they don't, as far as I know.
I don't believe so in the like in the quarry area itself. Maybe above. If someone knows, send it in the comments.
All right. Yeah, so I totally remember. I was like, why was I thinking tall? And that I remember it's taller than the Statue of Liberty, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this is definitely feasible.
And they already have a Starflyer, right?
Yep, they have a Star
Yeah.
Flyer and they have a drop tower, so I don't think one of those two options would be as likely since they wouldn't want to have two in, the same park. So I definitely think a coaster or a Giant Discovery is very likely.
So Fiesta Texas is almost like the new Great Adventure if they get another coaster.
If
I
they,
would agree. I would actually really agree. They were getting coasters every 2 to 3 years, and we've seen that in the past lately. They've gotten between Batman the Ride, Iron Rattler, and Wonder Woman. That was all like a max of 3 years apart. So maybe they're going down the same route as Great Adventure did back in the 90s when they would get coasters back to back to back every 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I can definitely see that happening.
Six Flags Great America and the Max Force.
Yeah.
So this is the teasing campaign I was referring to in the last video. So this is the one, and this is the biggest rumor. So there, a lot of people are predicting SNS. I think it could be Chance as well. It's going to be something in that kind of category. We still have Mystery Chance Track, right? Chance Morgan Track is the one that was spotted by
Yep.
Coaster Studios.
Yep.
So that track is ghost track. It appeared and it's gone. So we're still looking for a park as to where that could be going. I mean, it could end up being a kids attraction at another park because there's a smaller park that you guys were talking about that has been kind of teasing a kind of like family coaster coming, right?
Yeah, Ride Playland, and Ride New York, I believe, is rumored to get a chance.
Yeah. So I think that the biggest possibility then for Great America, because it sounds like the Chance Morgan track is heading to a smaller park that isn't Six Flags or Cedar Fair. I'm thinking I agree with this, like an SNS launched coaster. I think this model would fit in that plot of land really well, and they don't necessarily look that ugly, to be honest. Like some other coasters might ruin that big forested area or grassland area that Six Flags has. But do you think it's going to be a world record coaster, as the teasers are kind of suggesting? What do you guys think?
I don't. For one, I think it's going to be an SNS. I think it's going to be launched. They don't really have a launch coaster that's super high throw minus V2. But I don't know if it'll be world record, but I think it'll be North America record because I believe they said something about best in North America, and then I also believe they had a record that was spinning somewhere. I think they actually meant the actual record, like Road to Glory. That someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it'll break a North America record, whether that be like the launch or something like that. I don't know, but I definitely think this will be a North American record of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it was a world record, they can take the launch coaster. They can take the world's fastest acceleration from Dodonpa.
Yep.
But again, that's like walking on air.
Yeah. What about the water coaster theory?
Actually, that's a really good topic. I think a lot of people, when they started teasing, thought water park because the first two teasers were in the water park. But once they went outside of the water park, I think that's when people were like, oh, maybe it'll be an actual coaster. And someone on Reddit actually found out that the Bullet Coaster, which is one of the rumored coasters, clone model that's rumored to go there, actually fits in that plot of land where they were. Max, the name of the person, was running around. So I think an SNS is likely, but I still think that a water coaster is somewhat likely, especially since it is so close to the water park.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They could pull another behemoth with it, putting it right next to part of the water park.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Magic Mountain. Oh my. So This one we know. This is like Wonderland all over again. And if you could see me right now, I'm literally holding my face like in just stress. So this is another coaster where we know a lot about it, but we don't know a lot about it. So it definitely looks like it's going to be either 2 launches or dueling. Who knows? Maybe it's both. I'm kidding. So it looks like it's going to be 2 launches or dueling. A lot of people are now suggesting the Vekoma dueling launch coaster. And I think this would be perfect because I think a lot, like in our Discord too, we talked about this a lot, where we're like, was it too late for Vekoma to come out with these new models? They look amazing, absolutely amazing, but no one's buying them. So it was like, who's going to be the first one to bring these to North America? Like, I think do we have one in North America yet?
No,
I don't. Yeah, no.
the newest thing we have is, I guess, the track of Great Nor'easter.
Hmm. But even that's not, that new. It was just a retrack and nothing more.
Mm-hmm. So it's just interesting because it's like, will they be the first park to bring a Vekoma? And I think this would be smart because if they're building a lot of coasters, building a Vekoma might be good for them because Vekoma coasters, even these new awesome models, are cheap. They're really cheap.
They're relatively inexpensive, and they can fit almost anything, kind of like your Flower DNF coaster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Park Bros has been covering this project phenomenally. So that's honestly where I get my information now from Magic Mountain. I literally just go and watch their videos because the land that they're showing that this coaster is taking up is absolutely insane. I wasn't expecting that. So you were telling me, Eastern, that it also looks like a new area is coming with this coaster as well. So it's a big investment.
Yeah. One of the popular rumors with Magic Mountain is Adrenaline Alley. Adrenaline Alley basically is most likely what I'm predicting will be the new name for this area. The current area at the moment is Cyclone Bay, and based off of videos, it definitely looks like it'll be getting an update. So I think Magic Mountain will be receiving not only this new dueling coaster, but they'll be receiving the entire new area with the Adrenaline Alley and maybe even a retheme of Apocalypse, their wooden GCI coaster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think it's interesting how Magic Mountain will be the first park, or one of the first parks, to get one of these new Vekoma models, almost showing it off, since this will most likely be their 20th coaster. And it's like the 20th coasters of Vekoma, and I just can't wait until they announce, because I think the layout will be interesting, seeing what Vekoma does to really make a comeback into, North America.
And it's almost like, is Magic Mountain getting that far ahead of Cedar Point now, where there's no competition? Yeah, Cedar Point's more beautiful, even though I still find it a concrete park. Yeah, Cedar Point has definitely a lot more quality over quantity, but it seems like Magic Mountain is starting to build the quality over quantity, or should I say quality with quantity. And
Yeah.
it's getting to the point now where Cedar Point might not even be able to hold on to the best park in North America. I know I'm triggering a lot of people here. Trust me, Cedar Point is my favorite park still. I have not been to Magic Mountain. I will definitely be going next year. But is Magic Mountain really starting to kind of like get its fighting gloves on, its boxing gloves on, and go to battle with Cedar Point? And it's like, who's going to win? Is the Coaster War? Are the Coaster Wars going to start? Because you know what I think. I honestly think the Coaster Wars are about to start again. Doesn't necessarily mean quantity wise, but I think quality wise coasters, there's definitely going to be a war between Magic Mountain and Cedar Point.
Yeah, I definitely see that war coming back. It used to be there before, but I definitely see that Coaster Wars coming back, and it seems like it will be starting. We see it with Steel Vengeance, and now this new, Vekoma dueling coaster, and who knows what's next, honestly.
I'm looking at the triggers. Don't worry, Cedar Point is definitely still my favorite park, but I haven't been to this park yet, so I can't really say that Cedar Point's better than Magic Mountain yet. But I'm excited for Magic Mountain. I mean, they seem to be the new Cedar Point in terms of getting coasters.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the chain is getting kind of smaller editions.
This definitely seems like the Cedar Point of, Big Flags.
No, I haven't suggested that Magic Mountain is beating Cedar Point yet. Again, Cedar Point definitely has quality in check. Checkmate in terms of Magic Mountain. Don't worry, Cedar Point is still number one, and it will be for probably some time. But Magic Mountain is definitely showing its interest in a chess game with Cedar Point, and I'm interested in that chess game.
Yeah.
I feel like Magic Mountain has a lot of the larger coasters that you would see kind of at other large parks like Cedar Point. They need something a little smaller and a little more crazy than that. Something like Maverick almost. It's not that big a coaster and it's still one of the better rides in the park, if you know what I mean.
Now, what about some of the other rumors about this potentially being a smaller family coaster that just takes up a large plot of land?
My only thing with that, to kind of combat that, to play devil's advocate, is like, what do you think of when you hear Adrenaline Alley? Do you think of a large new roller coaster featuring high speed, steep drops, and inversions, or do you think of a family coaster?
Definitely not a family coaster.
Yeah. So, I think Adrenaline Alley, with this announcement of the Adrenaline Alley, I think it'll definitely be a higher thrill roller coaster. It might not be as insane as some of the other coasters in the park, but I definitely think it won't be towards families, but it'll be towards thrill seekers.
Magic Mountain also has 4 family coasters, so they don't really need another one.
Yeah, and what about the T-Rex rumor?
The T-Rex rumor, I think, was debunked. I think it won't be happening, especially since RMC has themselves said that RMC's T-Rexes will not be coming until 2020. So I don't think 2019 is likely for an RMC T-Rex.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's it for our predictions for Six Flags. Do you guys have any questions for us on Six Flags or anything else before we end the stream? Let's see if anyone has any questions. Let's see if I missed any comments. Magic Mountain is getting a clone. T-Rex has a 0.0001% chance at this point. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think T-Rexes are ready.
Yeah,
no. I don't think those will be coming out until 2020, and I think it'll definitely be one of the larger parks to get it, but not Magic Mountain. I'm sorry to say, or at least in 2020.
Yeah, and I see Parks Bros is actually in here. So if anyone really wants to stay up to date and get close with the construction, that's the channel I've been watching for all of this, and they have really awesome videos. I almost call them the Midway Mayhem of Magic Mountain right now.
Yeah.
Spam T-Rex and it will happen. Giga T-Rex.
Giga T-Rex.
Oh my god, we forgot Six Flags New England.
Oh, well, let's touch on that part quickly, I guess. The popular rumor for that park in specific is an Endeavor. I think I'm saying that right. I think I'm saying it wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, you were saying Endeavor with Water Park, I think.
Yeah, Endeavor with the water park expansion. Those are the 2 popular rumors. Their water park hasn't had an expansion for a while, and they just got a thrill ride, so I think they definitely want to do a small year and, maybe not go as thrilling as a Giant Discovery. So I think they're going to get, an Endeavor, which is a second-gen Enterprise, along with some water park expansions, whether that be, slides or just general improvements overall.
Mm-hmm. So which park are we most excited for the announcement? Me, it's Six Flags Magic Mountain and Six Flags Great America, I think. And then Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Okay, so those are the 3 parks I'm most excited for. And oddly enough, La Ronde. Only because this will be very telling what La Ronde gets this season. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Eastern?
I completely agree with you. I would say my home park, Great Adventure, but I kind of already know what we're getting. Obviously, of course, really excited for that. It'll be a great addition. New thrill ride that definitely will help our collection of flat rides. But Magic Mountain, I'm really interested in seeing because of their new land and stuff. And Fiesta Texas, just because of the teasing that their park president has been doing. They've been doing an awesome job of teasing. Everyone's definitely wondering what they're getting in 2019. So I'm really, really excited to see that. And then Great America, because that's just interesting, whether it'll be a water coaster or a roller coaster. It's all just so exciting. So those are the 3 parks I definitely say I'm most excited for. How about you, Co-Boss?
I just wanted to mention something. I just saw Fluffy say it. We also forgot Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in Frontier City.
And this is what happens when a Cedar Fair fanboy creates the live stream for Six Flags. What do you guys think is coming to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom? To be honest, I don't want to. You guys start that. I don't know that park very well at all, actually.
Well, I know they just got a flat ride / coaster. And I think it'll be a small year, maybe just general park improvements and a family ride, I would say. Especially since they did just get a high thrill attraction. And as for Frontier City, they did just get that park, so I think it might be smaller. Maybe we could see a Skywarp there as well, along with, Darien Lake and the other parks that were rumored. But I think both of those parks will have smaller years, and maybe a thrill ride. Who knows? Maybe they could be receiving a tourbillon, but I think it'll be a smaller year for both of those parks.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you realize something about our predictions?
What is it?
We didn't predict any family or kiddie additions.
That's actually really true. I don't really see any family expansions or anything like that happening. I mean, there was the rumor with Kids World. Maybe that could possibly be its own separate park. I mean, there was a website that was leaked from Six Flags Official a couple of weeks ago, but I don't think that would be included in New England's. But I think this will be more of a thrill year for Six Flags overall. I don't really see as many family editions, and if it's a family edition, maybe it'll be super small or something like that, like one new family ride at a park or something. But I see more of a thrilling year with Six Flags in 2019.
Mm-hmm. All right. Does anyone have any final questions before we wrap this stream up? It's a short one today because we're doing our predictions, and there is no coaster news yet. That we're going to wrap in some coaster news this week with next week's stream. For anyone that is a Canada's Wonderland fan in here, yes, I will be doing updates again starting tomorrow. I don't do updates on weekends because there's no construction going on, although there was a lot of activity on Mindbuster, which I'll touch tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, Alec. Oh my God. I think I almost just got Simpsoned. Thanks for your predictions.
Remember that we're always in Discord, so after the stream, you can find us in there. We're super active in there, so, you can come in and say hi. And there is a link to the Discord.
Yeah, you did almost get me. I totally almost got Simpson there. Get off the stage. All right. Definitely not even going to attempt reading those words. But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Have a good one, and we'll see you soon.
In Discord.
In Discord.
In Discord.